Think of an address. Any address, a house, an apartment, an office. Now imagine that it shares its zip code with hundreds, maybe thousands of other addresses in the same area. That's normal, right? But what if I told you there is a building in New York so large, so extraordinary, that the United States Postal Service decided this building deserves its own exclusive zip code. This is the Empire State Building, and its zip code, 10,118. Only for it, for no one else. Today we're going to discover how a single building earned this extremely rare privilege and what it reveals about the monumental scale of this structure. October 1929. The New York Stock Exchange collapses. The Great Depression begins. Millions lose their jobs. The future looks bleak. And it's exactly at this moment that John Jacob Rascob and Alfred E. Smith decide to build the tallest building in the world. Crazy? Maybe. But they had a vision and an impossible deadline. The site at 5th Avenue and 34th Street belonged to the iconic Waldorf Astoria Hotel with 1,300 rooms. On October 1st, 1929, demolition begins. Just 5 months later, on March 17, 1930, the first steel column is placed into the foundation. The goal, finished by May 1st, 1931. That gave the team only 21 months from the first sketches to the completed building. For perspective, today, buildings of this size take 5 to 7 years to complete. The architects were Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon. The builders, Starrett, Brothers, and Eck. And the pace was relentless. At the peak of construction, the steel skeleton rose at a speed of 4.5 stories per week. In a single July day in 1930, 22 stories of steel structure were completed in 22 working days. More than 3,500 workers were on site simultaneously. Most were Irish and Italian immigrants, along with Mohawk indigenous workers from Canada, famous for their skill at working at great heights. Trucks made over 200 deliveries of materials per day. On April 11, 1931, 12 days ahead of schedule, the structure was finished. Former Governor Al Smith installed the final rivet made of solid gold. Total construction time, 410 days, 1 year and 45 days. A world record. On May 1st, 1931, President Herbert Hoover, from Washington, D.C., pressed a button that lit the building for the first time. But here is what truly makes the Empire State Building exceptional. It is not just its height, it's its scale as a center of business. Imagine 2.8 million square feet of commercial space. That's around 260,000 square meters larger than 36 football fields. The building has 102 usable floors, 6,514 windows, 73 elevators, and weighs 365,000 tons. But the most impressive number, the businesses and people who work there. Today, the Empire State Building houses hundreds of companies. Among the most notable are LinkedIn, which occupies 453,500 square feet, the building's largest individual Space Plus Shutterstock. J's Deco, North America, Skanska, Booking Holdings, Coty, Expedia, and many others. When the building opened in 1945, it already hosted about 15,000 employees. Think about that. 15,000 people working at a single address. That's more than the population of many small towns. And all these companies need to receive mail, letters, packages, contracts, bills, deliveries. On a typical day in the 1980s, when the building received its exclusive zip code, 35,000 pieces of mail arrived daily. 35,000 per day. That's more than 12 million items per year. May 1980. The United States Postal Service launches 63 new zip codes in Manhattan. One of them is reserved exclusively for a single building, the Empire State Building. Zip code 10,118. To understand how rare this is, think about it like this. A normal zip code in the United States covers a geographic area that may include thousands of residencies, dozens of businesses, and several city blocks. But 10,180. Just one address, 355th Avenue, the Empire State Building, until 2012. Only 43 buildings in all of New York had their own exclusive zip codes. And it's no accident. The Postal Service grants unique zip codes only to entities that meet very specific criteria. First, extremely high mail volume. We're talking about entities that receive so much mail that they require a dedicated sorting system. Second, logistical complexity. When you have hundreds of companies in one location, each with its own mail rooms and departments, efficient delivery demands specialized organization. Other members of this exclusive club include the Pentagon, the White House, major universities, and massive corporate headquarters. One World Trade Center, despite being the tallest building in New York, does not have its own zip code it shares with surrounding buildings. What zip code 10,118 represents is simple. The Empire State Building isn't just a building. It's a city within a city, a vertical community with its own postal identity. Think of the logistics. Every day, mail carriers arrive at the Empire State Building with trucks full of mail. But instead of separating each letter among thousands of other nearby addresses, they know if it says 10,118, it goes there, and only there. It's pure efficiency, a recognition that some places transcend the usual definition of address today. Nearly 95 years after its inauguration, the Empire State Building remains one of the most iconic buildings in the world. More than 4 million tourists visit its observatories on the 80th, 86th, and 102nd floors every year. But it isn't just a relic of the past. In 2011, after a deep energy retrofit supported by the Clinton Climate Initiative, the building reduced its energy use by 40% and its greenhouse gas emissions by 54%. It earned LEED Gold certification and became the largest LEED-certified building in the U.S. at the time. The goal now, net zero emissions by 2030. The tenants have changed. Today, it's no longer just traditional companies. LinkedIn, a giant in professional networking. Shutterstock, a leader in digital imagery. Tech firms, consulting companies, fashion brands, media organizations. The Empire State Building has evolved with the times. The building now offers 65,000 square feet of tenant amenities, a 15,000 square foot fitness center, a 67 floor conference center, a multi-sport modern lounges, and 7 on-site dining options. It's a complete corporate campus. And zip code 10,180. Still exclusive. A silent symbol of greatness. A reminder that some places are simply too big to share. The Empire State Building was built in the midst of crisis. It rose when everything seemed impossible, and it became more than a building. It became an icon of resilience, ambition, and possibility. Its exclusive zip code isn't just a postal convenience. It's recognition, a statement that this place is different, that its scale, its impact, its presence in the world demand its own address, its own identity. Today, if you want to send a letter to the Empire State Building, just write 355th Avenue, New York, NY 10118, and the mail carrier will know exactly where to go, because there is only one 10,180 in the entire world. One building, one zip code, one legend. The Empire State Building, too big to share.